God damn, I look good. This trim's just hitting me different, man. Jeez! Right, anyway, scratch that. How can you improve your chest? And how can you improve the muscle hypertrophy of your chest? How can you improve the strength? All of this jazz. If you're like me, or ever been like me, at a young age, you've always found it hard to grow your chest, or this is an area that you just haven't really worked on. Or you just find it hard to gain muscle in that area in general. Keep on watching this video, and I'm sure you'll be able to learn something new and be able to grow that chest to be looking like Ronnie Coleman's. Let's get straight into it. Right, so to begin with, a little bit of detail on what I've done to grow my chest. So when I started working out, how I started basically my growth of my chest is by doing body weight exercises. As a kid, I was quite anxious to try new things. I'm sure a lot of you are as well, especially gym atmospheres. When you're a beginner and you're new to the gym, it's a very scary place. But obviously when you get settled in, you realise everyone's basically there for the same reason and no one really watches you. All they do is watch themselves. But anyway, how did I personally grow my chest? Was through press-ups, incline press-ups, and just basically body weight exercises, more like calisthenics side of things. Because like I said, I was scared to go to the gym. I wouldn't really go. If I did, it would be at school and it wouldn't be properly. And even then, it'd be body weight exercises. So mainly to do with press-ups and sit-ups and all that jazz. I actually did decide to go to the gym for the first time, and when I got used to it and I would go on a regular basis, I would always start with a compound movement to work on my strength. And just because I just feel like it's a good warm-up for you to get used to your other exercises through chest, which might be more isolated. So what I did to grow my chest was I would always start with a compound exercise and then go to a more isolated movement after that. And on these isolated movements, it would be on a rep range for 10 reps or until failure. Just because if you're not working at high intensity, there's no point working at all. And same with the compound. When I start with a compound, because it's strength, it'll only be 5 reps of 3 working sets. That's all I would do, just to work on my strength. Right, so I've talked about me and what I've learned, and I'll tell you about what you can do now to improve your chest and what I've learned from my own previous experiences. So I feel like the biggest tip for me to give to you would be, so tip number 1 would be exaggerate the sternum. What I mean by that is keeping your shoulders back and then pushing your sternum forward to be able to activate the chest when you go for pushing movements. Because say if I'm like this and I'm keeping my shoulders forward and I'm doing the pushing movement, it's going to put all the pressure onto my front delt, and you don't want that. As soon as you do that, all you're working out is your front delt. So remember to exaggerate the sternum, keep your shoulders back, and then use mind muscle to push the weight forward. So that's tip number 1, exaggerate the sternum. Number 2, that's 1. Tip number 2, always work till failure. Even if you're a beginner, you should be working to a point where like 80% of your max possibility. Because if you're not working above 80%, you're not really going to find too much progress in what you do. In gym, I always look about and I always see people just working because they feel the need to, and then stopping when they're comfortable. There's not much progress you can make by doing something at 50%. If you're going to make progress, you might as well put 100% into it and get 100% back. Whatever you put in is what you get back, is what I say. So find your perfect intensity range with certain exercises. So this, for you beginners out there, you have to realize what weights are good for you to hit 8 to 10 reps, let's say. Like a hard 8 to 10 reps, and you can't feel like you can do any more. So it's experimenting with weight to find the perfect rep range. Yeah, I mean, other than that, that's around it for intensity. Just make sure, like I said, to always work till failure and to always basically push yourself, so you can always progressively overload in the future. Number 3, work on isolated movements. What I found when I first worked out for the first 2 years, I did none of the compound exercises. All I did was isolated movements to work on my chest. And what I have found for you guys is it's a lot better to build muscle. Don't get me wrong, compound movements are great to build some sort of muscle and obviously build a lot of strength, such as bench press. But to actually build your chest and get muscle hypertrophy, more isolating, contracting exercises are beneficial to do so. So ones like flies or cable flies, just anything that's more mind to muscle will help you build your chest, and you'll see significant more growth if you do that on a regular basis rather than compound. So tip number 3, which is my last tip, try more isolated movements. I hope some of this information can help you for when you next do your gym session or chest session. Like I said, it's just what I've learned. It might not be correct for you, but from what I've experienced, it's really worked for me and to grow my chest, and I feel like it's reasonable size now. So I feel like I can give this information to you. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'm sure I'll see you lot in the next one.